What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a relieved Anfield Agenda match reaction after the Reds have beaten Fulham by 2-0. Goals in the night from Mohamed Salah and Rio Nyamoha see the Reds claim a first victory over Fulham in the Arne Slot era. We're going to, of course, ask you for your thoughts on the game. I'm going to share mine. The Man of the Match poll is open there now if you'd like to vote on it. Mattman, I'd seen your super chat, mate, just as we were finishing up and it said papering over the cracks, which I don't disagree with, but I'm still happy that we won. You know, I'll always be happy that we win. Lewis Orderly, thank you for joining Anfield Agenda FC as well, Lewis. Appreciate you. And Chasing Vlog said, we finally won against Fulham. Yes, after, took 4 attempts, but we got there in the end. So yeah, look, it's a perfectly acceptable day today. You know, it wasn't a vintage performance, but we did need to get back to winning ways. We did that. We kept a clean sheet. So I'll take it. Great to see Rio get a goal and the Sky Sports Man of the match as well. Mohamed Salah, another one at Anfield, another one to remember for him. Both fine goals in their own right, but it wasn't without nervy moments. And I guess if we want to be hyperly critical, we didn't really put the game to bed, but we did, as I said, win 2-0 with a clean sheet. So we're very thankful for that one. Right, let's give you some numbers now. So, Football and TNT Sports have posted Wayne Rooney, 288, Ryan Giggs, 269, Alan Shearer, 268, Andy Cole, 259, Mohamed Salah, 250. Mohamed Salah joins an illustrious list of players to record 250 plus non-penalty goals and assists in the Premier League. And congratulations to Mo on that one. Liverpool completed more passes in the first half of that game than we did in the whole game against Paris Saint-Germain. Mohamed Salah this season, 20 goals and assists, 11 goals, 9 assists. Again, that's a bad season, and he's still putting in some semi-decent numbers. So well done to Mo on that one. And of course, we know we'll only have Mo to enjoy for a few more weeks. Right, ladies and gentlemen, your Man of the Match poll that is open is Jeremy Frimpong, Andy Robertson, Rio Nyamoha, and Mohamed Salah. They are your options. So, look, fair to say that was a welcome victory, right? And I know the sentiment and the feeling that many of you guys have right now is probably the same as my own. You are caught in this conflicting world of wanting the manager out, wanting us to play with a bit more confidence, but also wanting us to be in the Champions League next season. I totally understand that feeling. I feel it myself. For me, we did need to get a win today, because if we didn't win and Chelsea won at the weekend, that's a really difficult fixture for them out of the way, and they'd have gone above us. Right now, we've got a 4-point cushion there with them to play Man City tomorrow. So yes, we need to book up our ideas and be better, but a win is a win, as they say, and we'll take it how they come, especially to snap a 3-game losing streak like we were on. Monster Madness said his name is Rio and he's dancing for the fans. His name is Rio and I'll be in the field with a bag full of cans, is what I would have done when I was 16 or 17. But yeah, look, it was a great goal from Rio. Great goal from Mo as well. I really enjoyed both of them. Both good for similar reasons, both cutting inside. Obviously, Mohamed Salah's was after a layoff from Cody, hit it first time. Both of them using the defender to kind of curl it round to onside the goalkeeper. Yeah, delighted, you know, really happy. And then let's see what happens with Tuesday night, which is, of course, a far bigger task. Is that 2 starts, 2 goals, and 2 man of the match for Rio in the Premier League this season? I know he's had 2 goals anyway. I can't speak to the other 2 things, but I know he has 2 goals. So that much I'll agree with you on, but I'm not sure on the starts thing. Am I going to tune into Bray Wanderers Longford Town? Probably not, to be honest, mate. Busy day ahead for me. Got obviously the boxing on tonight to watch as well, but yeah, we'll figure that one out as we go. So look, let's start the conversation like this. Give me your positives from this game, folks. You know, we'll go through it all, but let's start off. Give me your positives from this one. For me, it's obviously the goals from the 2 wide players and a clean sheet. They're the things that I would look from this and take some positives from. Also, I think we can get a hint to maybe what we can expect there on Tuesday night. The situation with Wirtz coming off, with Rio coming off, that probably suggests we can see them again on Tuesday. Good to see Isak get more minutes in his legs as well. That will help on the road to recovery. So that's the positives from me. Now let's see what you guys think. We didn't lose, said Foxy, or Fox. Good game, said Salman. Ekatike or Isak to start against PSG. There's no way that he starts Isak. And rightly so. I should say. He's not ready to start yet. We need to be realistic about it. He's missed a lot of football, and I think our best chance is to go a rested Hugo Ekitike. And then if we need something, we've got Isak off the bench. But that's my thinking on it anyway. We won and a clean sheet, said Paul. Clean sheet for Sean Stevens as well. Didn't capitulate, said Momo LFC. Squeak, how are you, mate? Said Rio for sure. He was electric. The desire to win, said Ahmed. Yeah, again, all positives, mate, and I'm happy to see them. I'm happy to take them. It was a much needed win today. Now look, like I said, would have liked to have seen us push on a bit more in the second half, but at the end of the day, we knew if we went out second half, kept a clean sheet, the job was done, and they did that. Jaden Drew said a good 7 out of 10 performance. To grade it, let me try and give it a grade. I'm probably at a 6, to be honest with you, because if you look at how the 2 goals came about, they were both good individual moments, rather than incisive team play. But I still take it, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with individual moments, but we huffed and puffed, and again, I don't like the mentality of dropping 15 yards back, and we were inviting Fulham onto us as the game went on, and thankfully, look, we kept a clean sheet, but we'd be a liar if we said they didn't have some chances in that second half to make it at least nervy for us. What do we got? First half was good, second half wasn't so good, a 6.5. Stop hating on Gakpo. Who's hating on Gakpo? I don't believe I've said anything hating on Gakpo. And stop telling people how to feel. Like, Gakpo was shit. Let's be honest about it. He was shit. He didn't really do anything. He occupied space, maybe held the ball up a bit, but every time he was given an opportunity to do something with it, he made the wrong decision. So I'm not going to sit here and just blankly carte blanche give people passes. No. Unlike him with Isak, which he was ignoring when there was the right decision. Look, Gakpo just hasn't been good enough recently. It's okay to say that. He's not the only one. Isak to Gakpo, Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky pass. Yeah, he bounced it off him, basically, and when we were playing out from the back. Georgie's starting to grow on me now. Can't be easy to shine keeper when you've poor defence. Yeah, absolutely. But he's getting match minutes now, and he's getting rhythm, and that's a clean sheet, which I'm sure will help as well. Didn't put a foot wrong today, Georgie. Layla said 8 out of 10 first half, 5 out of 10 second half. So 6.5 out of 10 then in total. Triller said anything changes, Slot still has to go at the end of the season. The best he can do is secure a Champions League spot. So yeah, look, would that be fair to say? Would everybody be on that thought process? Because I certainly am. I want us to get Champions League football, but nothing's going to stop me wanting him to be gone at the end of the season. And if we get Champions League football, great, that can be his parting gift, but it can't be used as a way to defend the rest of the season. And that's where I am as a fan. You know, of course we want Champions League football, but let's not in any way try to rewrite history and say that Champions League football and scraping into it in 5th place is acceptable. It isn't. It isn't acceptable. And like we've said, there's so many things this season that show that he's just not able to get a tune out of these players. I'm saying now it's more their own professional pride at this point, and the fact that we're fighting, playing at Anfield. So for me, and I can only speak for me, there is no winning me back around now at this point. Chelsea fan here, not getting Champions League. We've been shite. We've both been shite this season, Billy. Yeah, you know, we've both been really inconsistent. I remember sitting here, Billy, watching you guys at the Club World Cup against PSG and thinking, these lot are going to be trouble this year, because that was one hell of a performance over there against them. You did to them what not many teams can do. And I thought, if they do this season, Chelsea are going to be a problem. But yeah, been really, really inconsistent, mate. So I think whoever gets this 5th spot, it's going to be the most consistent of a least consistent bunch. Sorry, just had to remove something there. 1 sec. Right, let's get back in. Paddy Walker said, Craig, I'm conflicted about giving positives about our play. By giving positive feedback, it's like I'm saying Slot has improved, and I don't think this result has anything to do with Slot. So here's how I'm choosing to think about today's game, Paddy Wacker. I'm choosing to look at it as a promise in the development of Rio. That's what I'm gonna take from this game. It's that this is another step forward for young Rio and his development and his journey to becoming a star. And that I'm very much behind. After that, I'm grateful for the clean sheet. It wasn't a great performance, but it wasn't an awful performance. It was decent. But like I said, baby steps at this point. And there is no winning me around for the manager. I just want Liverpool to get into a decent position in the league. Two wingers, two mids, one centre-back, one left-back, and we'll be back. Depends on the formation we're going to play, but in theory, yes. Yeah, don't really have any debate about that. Just want to remind everybody as well, just before we went live, David Ornstein said this about Ibrahim Konate. So just before we went live, we covered it, but just in case you didn't see it. On NBC yesterday, he said Ibrahim Konate will be out of contract this summer, and my latest information is that the situation is at an impasse. So that's where we are there with Konate, which is kind of at odds with the other reports that were suggesting it's closer than it's ever been. Itachi said, good feeling to have a thing to celebrate. Yeah, it's nice to come on for a match reaction and not be angry, you know. But those conflicting feelings, they're real. And it's weird right now. Good result, but it changes nothing. I want him gone, said Maddie Dals. And Maddie, I'm there with you, mate. Gakpo must be ingratiating himself to Slot with those two bits of magic, that's all. That's the way I see it as well, Robert. Two good bits of individual play wins the game. And I'm not against that either. You know, there's nothing wrong with bits of individual magic to win the game. But here's a question. Based off what you've seen today, are you confident that we can overturn a 2-goal deficit on Tuesday? Because for me, no, I'm not. Because one, of the respect I have for that PSG team, and two, I just don't think this was enough. So, let me just read this out. You deleted it, but I think it's fair to read it out because it's a comment. So it said, hope for your sake they sack Slot because your reputation's on the line. Stop misleading people and use the platform you have for good. So, genuinely, how do I mislead people? You do know what this channel is, right? I'm not a journalist. I'm a fan. I report what journalists report and I tell you what people I talk to say. That's it. So you can get angry at me all you want and you can try to besmirch my name all you want. But ultimately, my reputation isn't on the line because I've not made a blanket statement about anything. My information is the direction of travel is he gets fired. But rather than try to belittle me, how about coming in to talk about all the things I've gotten right over the years? Because you're never around when I get them right. You never come in to go, well done, Craig, you're right about that. I called this shit with Slot last year at the end of the season when we were playing poorly and people were okay in it and saying, but you won the league, let them party, and I called it out. So I use my platform for honesty. Think of it that way. And it's not up to me to sugarcoat the truth for people. I give you what we hear honestly and we talk about it. But the big difference with me and a lot of the journalists or other people that you're talking about is they don't have to face the public. I do. Every night I have to come on here and own what we talked about, own my opinions, and I never shy away and I never hide. My job is infinitely more difficult because I front up. I don't go missing. So if Arna isn't sacked this summer, I'll be here to talk about it. But if you're going to try to belittle my name, I'd at least like a balanced conversation about it. I think that's more than fair to ask. And also, who are you to tell me my reputation's on the line? Honestly, like, who the fuck are you to make that decision? Because you've decided that in your own warped little mind. It's a bit strange, right? It's a bit entitled, that. After Gakpo moved to the left, he actually performed. Did he? I thought he was worse on the left than he was through the centre, personally. Because on the left, he was more wasteful. Genuinely not trying to hate on the lad. That's my honest view on it. When he got to the left, yes, there was more space there from, but the decision-making process from Gakpo, I thought, was flawed. Especially with the one real big opportunity he had, where he tried to pick out Salah on the far side, and if he had just got his head up and pulled it back towards the penalty spot, he would have had a tap in. But like I said, happy for the win. What else we got here? Craig, you do a fantastic job. Keep up the good work. Again, I don't need to prove myself to people, because I tell you the truth behind this comment is this person here is somebody that never has anything positive to say about me. That's it. Like, that's genuinely it. I don't recognize the name. I've never remember having conversations with them. They just come in to be negative, to try to belittle my name. That's it. It's simple as that to me, and it means nothing to me. It's the same as somebody I've never met on the street saying it. If you watch this channel every day, I'd challenge you not to like it. Truly. How could you not like it? People in it are fucking awesome. We have really fun conversations. You know, might not always be the most PC, might not always be the most child-friendly, but it's fun and it's honest. And I'm never going to change for anybody, because I love what I do. I love my community. And like I've said, I don't go hiding. I'm here every night. Can you say that about other people who write their articles and disappear? I have to front up every evening to talk to people. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to do that. In Isak's 2 appearances since the injury, we still don't do enough to get on the ball. What changes do we need to make to better suit our strikers? I think we have to look back at what made Isak so good when he was playing for Newcastle. And it's early balls across the front to give him something to fight for in the 6-yard box. And I think we haven't really had that style of centre forward for a while. So it is going to take some time to get used to, but this is where we start to need to have consistency. Consistency of decision-making, consistency of movement. And Isak also needs to be saying to the wingers and the fullbacks where he wants the ball. You know, that's why you've seen these links to the likes of an Anthony Gordon and that. And people haven't liked him, and that's fair enough. But players like him know exactly what Isak wants. So we've got 2 very different centre forwards in Hugo Ekitike and Isak. And the guys, I just think with repetition, need to figure out. They've got the Ekitike thing figured out. You can see the relationships with him and Wirtz at a form. But with Isak, it does feel like they're just playing catch-up, really. Who assisted Rio's goal? Honestly, I don't remember, because there wasn't really much of an assist to it. I know you're probably asking for FPL, and apologies, I don't know the answer, but it was just Rio made the goal himself. Is Canade still not sure, committed he should go? Look, I'm at the point, Ray, where when I look at the situation with any player, not just Canade, you should know at this point, both sides, what's happening. Liverpool will know where their top dollar number is. Canade will know where his bottom line is. And it just, again, doesn't scream stability at a club when you're in, April? And you still don't know whether you've got your centre-back partnership for next season. So it's worrying. And it's worrying that the contracts have gotten to this station for a few years. But as fans, we can't really do anything than just wait at this point, which is frustrating. Do you think we'll have another big summer? I don't think it'll be anywhere near as big as last summer, but I think it doesn't necessarily need to be. We just need to get it right. You know, the core of the team, and I mean the heavy lifting of the talent, has been done. Yes, we need some pace. That has to be taken care of. We need to find a defensive midfielder. And there were a few conversations to be had around the right left-back position. Certainly left-back now that Robertson's moving on. What do we do there for a backup or a competitor to Milos? But it's, look, it's an important summer is what I would say. And that's where I think having the Champions League really comes into this. My big fear, and I think I speak for most people here, how weird does it feel to be worried about Champions League qualification because you know it's going to be used to try and justify a way to shoehorn slot in for another season? It's a really weird place mentally to be right now. Because of course I and you guys want our club to be in the Champions League. But we don't want that to be used and weaponized against us as a way to keep a manager that is clearly not doing it. That's the big fear I have, and I think most people have now, and it's so weird. It's a weird mindset for us to have or to be in. I love you and your channel, but let's just enjoy the win. Of course. Yeah. Happy to enjoy the win, my man. We need it. It's been, this is what would have been no wins in 4 if we hadn't won today. So definitely, we've got tough games coming up on Tuesday and next weekend. But yes, as you said, my man, enjoy the win. Craig, I know you're in that place where you are, means you don't let hate get to you, but still all love here from Vienna. Thank you, my man. What gets me about it, and I think this is where the autism comes into it, what gets me about it is genuinely, like, when I say I can't comprehend it, I'm not joking. I don't understand. I can't, my brain won't join the dots as to how people get into that mindset. So part of me feels anger and part of me feels sympathy for them. Because I was an angry young man after my father died. I wanted to take on the world and I hated the world. And I used that anger in ways that I look back on now and I feel ashamed of and embarrassed about. And I've grown and I've gotten older and I've been taught how to be vulnerable and open up by you on here. And you've never judged me for that. So I've been blessed that my life's been turned around because of the kindness of thousands of people. So I, in a weird way, want to try and point out the flaws of their behaviour to them and try and change one or two. I know it's an uphill task because you're on the internet and people love to hate and be angry, but I don't want the youth of today being that angry. I don't. And I understand why they're lashing out. But I actually really want to help. So I wish these people would just actually come in and chat with us. Because I think they'd end up finding a good group of people who they can have a bit of fun with and make them smile. Kelly, how are you, my friend? Said, evening, young Craig. I love it. Keep calling me young, Kelly. Keep calling me young. Don't let the critics get to you. There's a bad case of verbal diarrhea going around. Get rid of Slot and Gakpo. As I said, it doesn't get to me. It just makes me sad, because I listen to my son when he's upstairs on the internet with his mates, and I listen to him laughing and having fun and supporting each other. So I know there's plenty of love out there in the world. I've been watching your channel for years. Just to let you know, you do a great job. Thank you. Slot's got to go, but I agree, we need Champions League. Screw the haters. Yeah, that's such a weird... It's so weird, though, isn't it? Like, that we're in this kind of mental tightrope of a position. You almost feel bad for being happy in a weird way. If we got a promise from the club, and of course this isn't going to happen, but if we got some briefing that said, look, Slot's gone at the end of the season, then I think we'd all change a little bit, and that we'd be like, okay, that's done. We know what's happening there, just like we know what's happening with Robbo, just like we know what's happening with Mo, and we can just get on with it. It's this kind of uneasy feeling that it's just making this a very surreal season. Not a bad idea to get Gordon now with Isak to play. Well, ironically, Victor, Arsenal are doing a lot of groundwork to try and sort out Anthony Gordon. So let's wait and see what happens there. I'm a United fan. I don't watch FSG games, but the games I see are really poor. I think Slot had his chance. The game with PSG, and now maybe he's back. Last chance, the game against PSG, now maybe he's back. Look, Faisal, 1 win in 4. You can't be back by winning 1 game. The odds of the law of averages, you or I would win a game in 4 with this group of players. So honestly, I just think it's gone too far at this point for him. But let's wait and see. I want us to be in the Champions League next year. Would you take Carlos Baleba as our 6? Oh yeah, I think so. Good player. Does he really have the physicality? Maybe not, but he's tenacious and a really good footballer. It feels like Adam Wharton is, in my mind anyway, the most Liverpool-esque type one to come in. But that is, if I was to say one position is the most important, I do think that's it. Central midfield is where we really need to get this right. Right, let's have a look at the man of the match poll. If you haven't voted yet, still time to do so. We'll let it get up to 4,000 votes and then we'll knock it on the head. Your options are Frimpong, Robbo, Rio and Salah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to join the WhatsApp and submit your player ratings to be included in the video, scan that QR code on the screen there now. That brings you into the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, where you will also see the form to submit your ratings, the entry for the giveaway we're doing with thanks to the Collector's Corner, and a few other fun bits and pieces over the next few months. Right, let's keep going. Theo said, "Hey Craig, hope you're doing good. Here's my unpopular opinion. I'd 100% sell Szoboszlai for 150 million to fund our next window if we don't get Champions League." I wouldn't. I would love to see a battle between him and Wirtz to prove who the better one is in that advanced midfield position. I'd sell McAllister to fund a DM, or I'd sell Jones to fund a DM. Craig, no disrespect. You are Liverpool. You are not the manager. You are not the coach. All right, Kevin. Now, can I have that in English? Because what really confused me is what the fuck point you're trying to make. You can't start a situation. It's like saying, Craig, no disrespect, but you're a fat prick. Just because you throw in no disrespect doesn't mean it's going to go that way. And no, I'm not the manager. No, have we ever claimed? That's like saying, Craig, you're not an astronaut. You can't talk about Artemis, mate. You're not an astronaut. Did you get where I'm going, Kevin? I don't claim to be the manager. Right. The Gaming Guru, how are you, sir? Said, my question is, why do we sell a defender in January, but said stay at your club till the summer? Why did we sign a defender in January, but said stay in your club till the summer? I think it was the only way they were selling him, is probably the answer to that question. It'll always feel like a mistake to me, the Gaming Guru, that we didn't bring in a centre-back in January, because, like I said, our situation got worse, excuse me, before the January window opened. So the need, I would say, was increased. But all I can think of is he must be the guy they really, really want, and they were willing to wait. That's all I can think of. And look, we'll find out over the course of time whether that was the right or wrong decision, but it certainly didn't feel like they were setting us up for the best chance this year by not bringing in a centre-back. Chris, Craig, heard the lads won today, but I'm still of the view that if we go out on Tuesday night, then it has to be sacked. Simple as. FSG need to understand that football is a results-driven business. It's tough, yeah, it is. And it's also an entertainment business when you're charging top dollar for tickets. And, if you took the temperature of the fan base right now, I wouldn't say you're getting the happiest of Liverpool fans out there. So, yeah. It's a big summer for a whole host of reasons. But, if we're talking about it longer term as well, Chris, I'm also concerned about the sporting director role because, that link to Richard Hughes and Saudi isn't going away. And by all accounts, according to the report in the Telegraph, he's not signing a new deal. So 1 year left to him and then the upheaval starts again. Craig, I'm slot out, but today got almost everything right. Yeah, I don't know, no problem with that, mate. We got to win. We should be happy we got to win. But ask yourself this question, though, just to be, I'm trying to be balanced about it. Do you think the goals we scored came from him or the way we set up? Because for me, what I seen were two good individual moments. And look, I'll give him credit for playing Rio, of course. But I wanted us to build on that 2-goal lead, and I wanted us to come out in the second half and show that we can go through the gears, grab a third, grab a fourth, and that would, I think, in turn have built a bit more confidence for Tuesday. But a win is a win, and I'll take a scruffy win, and I'll take a clean sheet, no problem whatsoever. Scruffy, Alice, how are you? Said first half 6.5, 7. Halftime talk, well played. High press, not playing slow out from the back. Second half, can we stop doing that, please? For second half. Yeah, that was the big frustration. We didn't kick on, but we did keep a clean sheet. Fulham came on to us, but we've a much tougher task on Tuesday. And I guess the problem on Tuesday is if you go real gung-ho and just really go balls out attack, the calibre they have and the pace can pick us off. So, yeah, let's see what Tuesday brings, because it's going to have to be something special to turn this tie around. Craig, at least you have a realistic view. You haven't attacked the guy. You've just been real. It's never going to be personal for me, Terence, towards a manager in particular. I'm sure Arne Slott's a nice guy. And I think the way he handled the Diogo Jota tragedy was perfect. It's just genuine belief that I just don't think he's good enough. And, I can't lie about that. That's how I feel. But it's never personal. These guys, it's a job and they go and try their best. Layla said, Craig, your journey made me shed a tear. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Can you please go live tonight? I can't, James. I can't. I got to I got to watch the boxing, mate, to be honest with you, and spend a bit of time with the family. So, yeah, we won't be live there. But we'll have a news video out for you later on. I promise you that much. Right, man of the match poll. We've gone past 4,000 votes. And, of course, with 82% of the vote, your Anfield Agenda man of the match is young Rio Nyamoha, and very well deserved indeed. Germany Goes Hollywood said, I don't understand why we have to talk about this. We had a bad performance. We had performances better than this game. Sorry, we're happy, but it changes nothing. That's where I'm at. Look, you can never not be happy when you win a game of football. That's basic fandom 101. But it's a very strange mind frame that we're all going to have to be in now, which is you want it to be good but not too good, because if it's too good it doesn't bring change. But then again, when you think if it's too good, then you're thinking, am I wrong? Has it? It's been a real mental tightrope to walk this season for a lot of Liverpool fans. Mick said, first half okay, second half tactics were shite. Salah has to go. It's just not good enough for Liverpool. If we go against PSG, we are going out. Look, you've always got to caveat it by if, because it's 2 goals. Football's a mad thing. You never know. Tuesday, if we get an early goal and the players are feeling it and the crowd are behind them, maybe PSG get a red card. Anything is possible. But would I be putting money on it? No. Was there a banner at Anfield today? People complaining about ticket prices. Yes, there is. Just trying to understand, is that for season tickets? It is for season tickets, and it's for face value normal tickets and season tickets, yes. And the banner went across the back of the Kop. I can't remember what time the banner came out at, but yes, it did come out. Was that the game? Lad, the game was boring, in my opinion. Lots of mistake in there still. They had chances they didn't take. Yeah, that was second half, Liam. There was one, I remember, what's his name? Emil Smith-Rowe had a decent chance as well. Pulled it wide of the post. Look, I'm delighted we won and kept a clean sheet, but as many people have said, it doesn't really move the needle much. You're just happy to get the win. One bit of advice for starting a YouTube channel. Ignore the negativity. Have fun. Be consistent and be yourself. One thing I really did learn quickly is consistency is important. Let people know when to expect uploads. Let people know when to expect you live. And have fun with it. Because some of my favourite moments in this channel have been the most stupid things in the world. Like, Jurassic Gark was one night we had where we were coming up with nicknames for Goldbridge in a fun way, not in a belittling way, but just mad nights where the breast moment when they were in the Champions League and we were all here like children for about half an hour in one Champions League night laughing about that. Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, if anybody ever does come in just for football talk, they're probably going to be disappointed because, we do talk about anything and everything. Itachi said, what players do you personally expect to leave the summer besides Mo and Robbo? Oh, good question, man. I'm worried about Alisson, especially with the reports coming out of Italy. Juventus seem very confident. I think we lose one of Maka and Jones. Other than that, I don't really expect too many more to be going out the door, to be honest. Canade's situation obviously is a fluid one that we don't know about. Craig, stop trying to keep slotting a job. Joke. I was thinking about if you come in the wrong door. Work. Thanks for giving us a platform to speak. Pleasure, my man. Pleasure. Yeah, I was really confused there for a second, thinking, what? Am I giving off this vibe? I want them to stay. Adam said, I think the problem is Slot is using the forward players. You have them running at defenders rather than taking up specific places. Do you know what, though? I'm not going to complain about having wingers to try and take on players today. You know, Mohamed Salah didn't really have much joy in that regard, but Rio, I'm really impressed with him in tight spaces, his ability to protect the ball as well. Yeah, really enjoyed that from Rio today, and the goal was brilliant. Dutch Gamer said, I want Verbruggen as a replacement for Allison since his contract is almost over and they're likely selling him for not too expensive price. He's an experienced Premier League goalkeeper. What do you think? Do you know what? I've never really paid attention to Bart Verbruggen too much as a keeper. So honestly, I don't know what his level is. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but that's an honest one. Yeah, look, I don't know what happened. Like, we extended Allison's contract, but that could be equally as much to protect the value. But I would imagine if I'm, putting my fair hat on, I would imagine that if Allison told the club he wanted to leave, I don't see why the club wouldn't have given him a similar out like they did with Mohamed Salah. Because for Mo, they decided to tear up the contract, no transfer fee, no 400 grand a week wage for the last year. Thank you, and they go their separate ways. So if Allison wanted to leave, and again, no idea, you would think that maybe the club would have gone down the same route as to say, right, well, we won't trigger that last year and you can go do your thing. But let's wait and see. I've seen Yan Diamonde. He's a special talent. Could that front three of Ekitike, Isak and Diamonde be the new Mane, Bobby Salah? He definitely looks like a legit top player, Layla. I was a bit late to the party with Yan Diamonde, but when I really started to do some research, look at him, yeah, understand the hype. Still young, but he plays like he's older than 19. And what was about 86, 87 million pound is the asking price. A lot of money, but if that's a player that can play on both flanks and give us realistic ball carrying options, yeah, let's see. But again, we don't know formation wise what we're looking at next year in that regard either. Are the club off the hook for Mo's wages next year? Yes. It was, to the best of my understanding, Aaron, it's a handshake and you go your way, we go ours. Liverpool don't pay up. Liverpool don't get a transfer fee. It's just he's free to go and, sort out whatever deal works best for him and his family. The way Kelleher played today, I wouldn't mind him as Allison's replacement. I'll never understand that there wasn't a buyback clause in Kelleher's deal. Never. I could go further and say I don't understand why we sold him. I understand it from his side, but I just felt like it was very undermining of Kelleher. He's been a very able deputy, shown his worth, and then when Allison does get to the end, to the point where you're thinking, right, this is now where Queeveen, settles into being the number one, it didn't work out. Yeah, I don't get it. So I'd love somebody to explain it, but I just don't get it. Would you say TikTok would be better for growth, or would YouTube be better? It depends what you want from it. If you want to make money, YouTube's where you need to be at. It's without a doubt the best platform for you to earn a living from if you get numbers. But here's what I did, and I'm not trying to, be condescending, but I've always believed that if you do the right things, everything else falls into place. So if you make good content, you're consistent, everything else works. What we've noticed is no matter how much we want to share stuff, it's other people finding you, clipping you, sharing it, that probably gets that cumulative effect of growth. But don't go searching for growth. Just concentrate on the product you're delivering and believe in that. And truly, if that's good enough, everything else should fall into place. But I wish you the very best with it. It's an exciting time. I remember how exciting it was for us at the start of our journey as well. Right, so Arne Slot, speaking to Sky about Rio, said one of his strengths is dominating the 1v1. We've seen this season that he gets more and more playing time. That's what he deserves, because every time he plays, he does really well. His influence in the game, like he did today and against Wolves, today even scored a goal, which is vital in football, because goals matter a lot. I'm so glad he explained that to me about goals mattering a lot. I didn't really understand what this whole goal thing was about. He also said it's a better place than it was 2 or 3 days ago or a week ago, but it's not that after the win everything is good again. We know there's still a lot to play for. Everybody can understand after these 2 losses, 4-0 and 2-0, 3 losses, aren't there? But, you know, we're nitpicking. And the 2-0 felt more than a 2-0. Come out today, beat Fulham after only 2 days of rest. That shows the mentality of the team. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's hope they deliver again. Wearied Marge said, I hope this is a start for Rio to start more games, because he's shown so much, his ability and skills. He needs to play against PSG because he adds so much to the team. Definitely agree with him playing against PSG. And I think the fact that he got taken off today is probably a good sign for that. Watching Arsenal really wear a shadow of themselves in the second half. I didn't see the game, Leona, but that result really did surprise me. Did not expect Arsenal to lose that game. Craig and Connor have done so well. They deserve all love and respect, said Mr. H and friends, as has yourself and your own family, mate. Yeah, I've loved getting to know you a little bit. I watch your channel and see the reviews and the recipes that you guys come up with. So yeah, wishing you the very best as well. Do you think Slot glazes the team a bit? Not really. Like, what else can he say? He's got to be positive in front of camera. He's got to talk up the chances. He has to. I understand. Like, a lot of the time I say to people, sometimes you just read between the lines of what people say. But I never expect anything but the club to back a manager publicly and the manager to come out and speak positively about the situation. That's their job, you know, as much as it's a mental job as it is a coaching job. Do you think Arsenal will bottle it? I'm on the fence, James, mate. I really don't know. You know, when City lost the last game they lost in the league, I really did think that was the end of it. But, you know, City win against Chelsea tomorrow and then they beat Arsenal, 3 points, and the pressure is going to be insufferable for Arsenal. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting end to the season. Do you think Slot will be gone in the summer? Because the stuff last night worries me. Hopefully it's all talk. Well, to me, what I got from the conversations I had with people yesterday were that despite what the club are saying to the world, behind the scenes, they are planning for change. That's, like I said, that's what I've been told anyway. I'd go so far as to say Arsenal played the worst game in their entire season thus far, way worse than Wolves. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that would have been a game for them where they can, you know, get back to winning ways. You know, but let's wait and see. I mean, I'll catch up with Lee soon and see how he's feeling, but I can imagine he's not best pleased with today's result for them. Right, as much as I don't like City, it'd be good for us if they turn Chelsea over. Yes, it would, definitely. It'd be good for us and it'd be good for, I guess, the title race in general. But yeah, for us, it'll give us a 4-point cushion at the end of the weekend, which is important with the games we have coming up. So look, ladies and gents, I'm going to go and record the player ratings video. If you haven't submitted your ratings yet, you can still do so. Use the link in the description to join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. Thank you to you all for joining us today. We won't be back live tonight, but we will have a news video coming out at about 10 o'clock or so. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a late night agenda, news video, and everything else you would expect from us here on a normal day. Appreciate you. Thank you. Great to get back to winning ways today. Really hope you guys have a lovely evening. Thank you for your support.